I'm going to start here with Jayden Daniels. I will be out on Thursday. I will also not be going to Atlanta, so Hester and Hanny will fill in for me in my time slot on Friday. So I can kind of empty the clip here for the next 2 hours, next 4 hours of local radio. At times when LSU's playing a game on a Saturday, diving too deep into the weeds on a Tuesday will maybe run you out of material by the time you get to Friday. Not the case with me. So I want to start with this game in Atlanta. Got A&M in the rearview mirror. I think it's pretty safe to say that this Tiger team does as well. Sometimes it's tough to shake the fact that you can't play for a national championship. A lot of teams have to do that in October and November. LSU now moves into December, now having to shake it. And that's a great position to have been in. Unfortunately, it's not a great position to be in right this very second. But you still got a chance to go play for a conference title. You're going to go into a gorgeous professional stadium. You're going to play the most powerful brand in the sport right this second. And it's going to be full because Georgia's going to put a lot of people in that dome on Saturday. So you ought to have the juices flowing pretty good like A&M did on Saturday. Hopefully LSU can come to play. And one of the guys that's going to have to come to play, maybe the guy that has to come to play in this game, is Jayden Daniels. I'm not 100% certain what the extent of this lower extremity injury is, whether it's ankle, foot, whatever. It doesn't feel great. He was a little bit gimpy in A&M. He was in a walking boot. They were going to do some tests, make sure he could get on his tiptoes over the next couple of days, get him some mental reps, and throw a little bit, and be ready to go for Saturday. And obviously, for a quarterback who plays the game the way that Jayden Daniels does, having an injury to your foot or ankle is not ideal. He uses his legs as much as any quarterback in the country outside of the service academies. It is a massive part of what he does. And if he's not able to do that at the highest level, it really compromises what he can do. Now, I watched Devon Achane take 38 carries on a bad ankle, and it looked pretty good to me on Saturday. So I won't rule anything out at this point, but just obviously stating the obvious, him being compromised in any way is a big detriment to LSU's offense. But what does Jayden Daniels have to do in this game? Well, he's gonna have to play great. That goes without saying. But this deal where he gets back there and pats the ball and then tries to take off, that works great when Florida State's not prepared for it. And that can work great if Mississippi State's not quite ready for it. And that can work great because UAB can't stop it. But this Georgia team knows exactly what LSU is trying to do, and they've got horses on that defense that can run with Jayden Daniels on that turf, and that will make it very difficult for him to go nuts running the football. He's going to have to win a lot from the pocket. Now, that doesn't mean he can't use his quickness and legs to pick up some yardage. But at times this year, Florida State, namely, that was 4 months ago, I get it, but Florida State, namely, that was pretty much it. He was just taking off trying to get chunk plays. Georgia's going to get that figured out. They're not going to be undisciplined, and they have freak athletes. This is the best defense in the conference by a mile. So Daniels can use his legs, but he's going to have to win at times from the pocket. And when has he done that? He's done that a couple of times this year. He certainly did it against Florida. Go back. If you want to feel better about LSU's chances on Saturday, go watch the Florida tape on YouTube. Jayden Daniels plays from the pocket more that day than he did at any other time. He threw the ball up and gave Brian Thomas a chance to go make a play. He does in the end zone, goes and makes a play. He gets a free play. Florida jumps off sides, very obvious. So he just chucks it from the pocket down there to Jare Jenkins, who separates and makes a catch and scores. And you go, yeah, well, you can't count on a free play. No, you can't. But you can take a shot. You don't need a free play to hit your back foot and throw it down there. Because here's the deal. Where is LSU comparable talent-wise to Georgia when LSU's offense is on the field and Georgia's defense is on the field? Where's the talent comparable? Is it in the trenches, front seven? I don't think so. I think LSU's young. I think they've moved a lot of guys around. I think they've been okay a lot. I don't think they're to the level Georgia is with Jalen Carter and that crew up front. And when I say that, I don't mean LSU has no chance to block Georgia. I don't mean that. I think they're going to have to work hard. They're going to get beat some. I think they'll win their fair share. But over the course of 60 minutes of action, Georgia's going to be a little tough to handle up front, especially at the linebacker spot, and especially when you look at LSU's running backs who haven't been awesome this year. At times, Josh Williams has made some plays. At times, John Emery has made some plays. At times, Noah Cain has run hard. Are they as good as Georgia up front? No, they're not. Are they as good on the outside? The talent's comparable. Kayshon Boutte's going to play in the NFL. Malik Neighbors going to play in the NFL. Brian Thomas going to play in the NFL. So you equalize things to a degree once you get out wide. Closer you get in? No. More you try to just play backyard football? No. Give your guys a shot on the outside. I will go as far as to say this. LSU will not win this game if Jayden Daniels doesn't throw an interception. Little bit of hyperbole, but here's what it's rooted in. LSU's not going to win this game 44-41. You can't get in a track meet with Georgia. If your defense can't show up and hold them in the 20s, it's not going to happen. So at that point, if your defense can't hold Georgia in the 20s, it's a moot point to me. Nothing we talk about offensively for LSU even matters. So maybe if you take a shot and they get you, you just live to play again. Trust that your defense can slow down the same offense that Kentucky slowed down and Missouri slowed down. We'll see. But Jayden Daniels is going to have to be aggressive with the football. That's the bottom line. Crossing route, you got one step, tight window, go. Throw the football. Throw it. Let your guys have a chance. Because if you can't get your best players involved in this game against the best team, you can't win. You can't read option, play patty cake in the backfield, run around, try to pick it. No, it's not going to work. Now, unless you put a wrinkle in against Alabama, it's not something we had seen a ton of. They did some read option with a little get Jayden Daniels on the edge, moving towards the line of scrimmage, and at times he was able to dump the ball out to Mason Taylor or rip it on some sort of out route to the outside. There was some option involved in that. And wrinkles are great. This is not an overarching theme of every play you've got to run. I realize you got to run the ball some. I realize Jayden Daniels is going to have to run the ball some. You're going to have to run some. You're going to have to do a lot of things. But in the biggest plays of the game, LSU's going to have to try to let Kayshon Boutte go make a play. He's as good as everybody wearing red and black over there. Everybody. So is Malik Neighbors. Go to the Alabama game. Just took a shot down the sideline. Jeray Jenkins went up and made a ridiculous catch down the right sideline. You took a shot to Mason Taylor from outside about the 20-yard line. He went up over two guys and made a catch. If you try to wait for everyone to break wide open, or you try to just run the ball and punt, you can't win like that. Let your best players have a chance. And that's what it's going to take. And this is not a new narrative. This is not something we just cooked up. But I saw far too much in Fayetteville and College Station of standing back there, patting the football, looking. And at times the offensive line held up a long time. But that's not the way you're going to be able to move an efficient offense, is let everybody run their route. Everybody drops in zone. Nobody sprung wide open, so you never delivered the ball. Now all of a sudden it's street ball. Well, guess what? Georgia's going to have at least one guy who runs a 4-5 that's going to be closing when you try to take off and run. So you got to run the ball when you can, but Georgia's really tough against the run. You got to use your legs some because that's what your best part of your game is. But if you're going to win, you're going to have to get outside your comfort zone. If you heard Charlie's show a little bit earlier, he said, look, if LSU plays their game and Georgia plays their game, Georgia's going to win. So you've got to step out of your game. What better comfort blanket than the receivers LSU has brought into this program? Got to go ahead and give those guys a shot. And if they pick you, so be it. Because, again, I just don't think that it matters if your defense isn't going to stop them. You're going to have to lean on the defense a little bit. You don't have to take a shot when you're on your own 5. You got to take a shot when you're on your own 40. You got to take a shot when it's 2nd and 1 and you just cross midfield. So we'll see if Jayden Daniels is comfortable enough to do that. You would think maybe in this game, LSU would play with a little freedom. That's not kind of the cliche when you're the underdog. How about a little freedom? You don't have anything to lose. You lost it all last week. All gone. It's gone. So who cares if they intercept it at the Georgia 10? They got to go 90. Let's try. Hopefully that's being coached a little bit. I think Jayden Daniels can do it. It's just a matter of will he give it a shot as opposed to relying on those legs.